Hey, it's Melissa. Welcome to my $100,000 stock experiment, year 3, week 27, ending October 16, 2020. This isn't an endorsement to purchase any stocks that I bought, nor an endorsement to purchase stocks in general. I'm on a mission to become a great growth stock investor, and I'm letting you watch me on my journey. Hopefully, you can learn from my mistakes and celebrate my successes. According to the IBD at investors.com, the market is in a confirmed uptrend. The S&P 500 index was up 0.2% for the week. It had a nice gap up on Monday that I'm showing at that number 1. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday it fell. It did have a slight recovery on Friday, but it did close at the bottom of the range on Friday. It is above its 50-day simple moving average, that diagonal red line. I did make some add-on buys this week. I made a buy 2 in Paycom and Viva Systems and a buy 3 in Datadog that triggered a sell. Every time I purchase a stock, I put a stop limit order at a floor. It's initially at 8% below the purchase price. I like to leave it there for 4 weeks unless the stock makes a double-digit gain or the market is not in a confirmed uptrend. Advanced Micro Devices, stock symbol AMD. I've held this stock for 2.4 weeks and it's down 0.6%. I did leave my floor at 8%, which is shown at that horizontal yellow line. The green line and the little orange box is the day that I purchased it, and the black dot over on the right hand side is the closing price on Friday. This stock has basically been flat since last week, and I'm just sitting tight. It may be forming a cup with handle, and its earnings are coming up in 10 days. Viva Systems, stock symbol VEEV. I left the floor at 8% on this one as well. I held the stock in the past and I had moved the floor up too fast and got burned. So I show you my previous buys with that B is where I bought it and then the S is where I sold it when it hit that 31-day exponential moving average, which is the blue line. And I did add on to this stock this week also. My B1 I've held for 3 weeks and it's up 8.6%. And my B2 I've held for just 3 days and it's up 0.5%. West Pharmaceutical Services, stock symbol WST. Again, my floor is at 8% and earnings are coming up soon in 4 days. I've held it just about 2 weeks and it's down 0.3%. Every week I review my charts and I see if I can raise my floor. DR Horton, stock symbol DHI. Even though I typically like to leave my floor at 8%, I did look and see if there was a point where it made sense to raise the floor on some of my stocks. This can reduce my exposure, so if the market is to go down, at least I don't take an 8% loss on everything. So this is a stock where I thought I could raise my floor safely to this 50-day simple moving average. If it drops down to that dotted yellow line at 73.58, this stock will trigger a sell. I've held this stock for 2.5 weeks and it's up 1%. Nvidia Corp, stock symbol NVDA. This is another stock that I raised the floor up to the 50-day simple moving average. It hasn't touched that in the 6 months that is showing on this chart, so I think it's safe to move it up there. It was up slightly from last week. Last week I had a gain of 1.3%, and this week, after 2.5 weeks, I have a gain of 1.7%. TFI International, stock symbol TFII. I have a nice gain in this stock. In a week and a half, I'm up 4.8%. I would like to see if there's another buying opportunity, but earnings are coming up in 4 days. And while I don't sell because of earnings, I typically don't buy going into earnings. I did raise my floor up to 44.29 to that 50-day exponential moving average. DocuSign, stock symbol DOCU. I've held this stock for 2.5 weeks and it's up 5.4%. I raised my floor to the 50-day simple moving average. Simulations Plus Inc., stock symbol SLP. This stock I raised my floor up to the 31-day exponential moving average. This stock has tried to break out twice and has pulled back both times. It tried at the number 1, it went up and then it came back down, and then at number 2, it went up and then it came back down, both times going down to its 16-day simple moving average, but never getting to that 31-day. So I hope my floor is safe there. It also looks like the stock is having higher highs and lower lows, which people talk about in the stock world. So we'll see if this one continues to make that pattern. I think this is super volatile, but hopefully I can hang on to it. I've held it for 3 weeks and it's up 0.1%, so not much of a gain there. SailPoint Technologies. I raised my floor for my B1 to that 31-day exponential moving average. I have a nice gain in this right now. My B1 I've held for 2.5 weeks and it's up 8.6%. And my B2 I've held just about 2 weeks, and that one I have a loss on, almost 4% loss. Sail had a nice upward trend in the past at number 1, and then it seemed to have a consolidation at number 2. It gapped up at number 3. It had another consolidation and gapped up again, and at number 4 it seems to be consolidating again there. I like to add to positions as they prove themselves. It doesn't always work though. I added to Datadog this week and it triggered a sell. So I did hold a stock for just 2 days and it lost 7.6%. But I have a nice gain. In my B1, I have an 11% gain after 2.5 weeks, and my B2, slightly under 2 weeks I've held it, and I have a 6% gain. So I did raise my floor on my B1 to right around 1.5 to 1% gain above my purchase price. And then I raised my floor on my B2 to that 31-day exponential moving average at 99.48. Last week I didn't want to move my floor up too quickly, but this week I thought it was safe to move it up, even though I did get triggered out of my B3. Don't let a double-digit gain turn into a loss. Paycom Software, stock symbol PAYC. I have a nice gain this week. Last week I was up 7.1%, and this week I'm up 11.7% after holding the stock for just under 2 weeks. I also have a B2 that I've held for 3 days, and it's up 0.9%. I raised my floor on my B1 up to 1% above my purchase price. Shift4 Payments, stock symbol FOUR. I've held this stock for 2.5 weeks and I'm up 18.6%. Clearly my best performing stock. I did raise my floor up to the 31-day exponential moving average. And I'm wondering, why didn't I buy more when this dropped below its 8-day simple moving average? I am going to keep looking for an opportunity to make a B2. I did sell a few stocks this week. I already told you my B3 and Datadog sold. I also sold PKI and VSTO. Vista Outdoor Inc., stock symbol VSTO. This one triggered my 8% floor on Monday. My floor, I put a range, so the low of that range is 8%, and then I put it a little bit above that. So it sold with a loss of 7.3%, and I held the stock for just about 1 week. PerkinElmer, stock symbol PKI. This stock didn't trigger a floor, but I didn't like the way it was behaving, so I went ahead and sold it. It had these 3 big down days in a row, and it dropped down to its 31-day exponential moving average. Last week I said it had been living above this 8-day simple moving average, and I was thinking of buying some more. But this week PKI moved into a new zip code and closed below the 16-day simple moving average, and it went all the way down and touched the 50-day simple moving average before it popped back up. I held the stock for 2.5 weeks and I took a 1.2% loss. My current holding bar chart shows 1 bar for each week that I've held the stock or portion of the week that I've held it. The dashed black line is my $10,000 purchase amount, and the solid yellow line at 9,200 shows my 8% loss limit, so nothing should be down below that floor. I put gold stars on my stocks that I thought were performing well. DocuSign, for Paycom, TFII, and Viva. I have 2 stars on 4 because it had a gold star last week as well. And then I put X's on the stocks that I wasn't super happy with, SLP and WST. My current dollar value gain, I sort these with the losers on the top. So I have 2 stocks that I have losses in. AMD, I have a $63 loss, and WST, I have a $28 loss. Each box here represents 1 week, and this is just on my B1 purchase. All the way down at the bottom, you can see I have a gain of $1,858 on my $10,000 purchase. So that's an 18% gain in 3 weeks, which is excellent. And then I look at the percentage change each week, again, sorting them with the losers on the top. SLP was down 3.1% and WST was down 2.1%. The stocks that are in the red box, those did not beat the S&P 500, and West didn't beat it for 2 weeks, DHI hasn't beat it for 2 weeks, and AMD has not beat the S&P 500 for 3 weeks in a row. If I needed to make a sell to make room for something else in my portfolio, it would likely be one of these stocks in this red box that I would get rid of. After 2 years and 27 weeks, my $100,000 has grown to $162,090 versus the S&P 500 for the same time frame has grown to $131,153. My portfolio went up a little over $700 this week. I had a gain of my current holdings, $1,841. I took a loss in my new purchases, including my B3 Datadog that I sold. My loss was $220 in my new purchases, and I also had a loss in stocks that I sold this week that I had held last week of $868. Down at the bottom, circled in the blue on the left-hand side, you can see the S&P 500 was up 0.2% for the week versus the Melissa method over on the right-hand side, I was up 0.5%. My experiment started in mid-April, and the S&P 500 for my year 3 experiment is up almost 25%, which is great, versus my Melissa method, I'm only up 12%. So S&P 500 is beating me so far. My industry and sector breakdown shows that I'm super heavily concentrated in software stocks with almost $89,000 in software stocks. Those are all the ones in the yellow. Then I have $20,000 in chips over 2 different companies. The rest of them, I just have a $10,000 purchase of 1 stock in the building sector, the finance, medical, and transport. I have $10,000 in cash, so I can make some B2, B3s, or a new B1. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel, The Melissa Method. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.